Hello guys, hope everyone's doing great. So, Raya and the Last Dragon is the latest flick from Disney. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming your wallets are £20 or $30 lighter, and you have indeed seen the film because I am going to talk spoilers, so yeah, that's your warning. If you haven't seen the film yet, I think you should definitely check it out, whether or not you pay for premiere access or wait 3 months for the film to be released as part of your Disney Plus subscription. Okay, that's it for the intro, so let's get straight on into the video. Right from the get-go, Raya and the Last Dragon brilliantly establishes its world, Kumandra, a realm that was once like a paradise but was ultimately ravaged by an ancient sinister force called the Droon. The film dedicates a good 20 minutes or so of its runtime to not only inform us about this broken world, but more importantly, show us how it became broken in the first place. We see everything from Raya's perspective, from the naivety of her duties as a guardian of the Dragon Gem, to the relationship she has with her father, as well as the beginning of her rivalry with Namaari. Not only does this perspective naturally make you side with Raya, but also shows us that she is not a perfect protagonist, and this ultimately allows for her to have a character arc throughout the film's runtime. What I like about Raya's character is that even though she's this extremely badass warrior, a guardian of a mystical dragon gem, at the heart of this adventure with all these crazy characters is a story of a daughter desperately trying to get back to her father. It's not really about spirit monsters and dragon magic, it's about people trying to reunite with the families they lost. And not only is this very touching, but there's also something so incredibly human about it all. Even when you flip the coin and look at Namaari, despite her being the antagonist for most of the film, that's not who she truly is. I definitely see a lot of similarities between her and Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. At the end of the day, all she wants and all she's ever wanted is to protect her people, and just like Raya, she has a very human motive that makes her very relatable. Since we're on the topic of characters, let's talk about them because ultimately, they're what make this film memorable for me. What's so special about them collectively together is that in their quest to get back to their families, they actually find a new one within themselves. I mean, when you have these characters assembled together like this, it's really hard not to feel like you're part of this group yourself. Now, I've already spoken a little bit about both Namaari and Raya, so how about we get on to her best friend, Tuk Tuk, who reminds me so much of Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm just gonna say it, this little guy is straight up adorable, and the character design behind him, it's genius. According to the official description from Disney, Tuk Tuk is 1/3 pillbug, 1/3 armadillo, and 1/3 pug. But let's be honest, what makes this hybrid work so well is basically that he can roll up into a ball and take you anywhere you want. I mean, who wouldn't want a Tuk Tuk of their own? He's awesome. Up next, we've got Boone, who is quite the entrepreneur. He's basically an adult trapped in a child's body and is probably more self-sufficient than I'll ever be, and for that I respect him a lot. Then we have Little Noi, who I can definitely see being a fan favorite for a lot of people. Very agile, super cheeky, but nothing short of hilarious. Tong is quite literally the muscle of the group, but what makes him interesting as a character is that despite his hard exterior, he is just as delicate as any of the others in the group. He's very much so a gentle giant. And then finally we get to Sisu, who is one of the first, but in many ways the last piece of this puzzle. Her character is very much a thematic symbol for this story and the one who all our heroes learn the most from. Now, when I saw Sisu for the first time, I was like, wait, what? This thing looks like something straight out of My Little Pony, but then you know what, I realized we've gotten a little too used to what a conventional dragon is in film and TV. Thanks, Game of Thrones. I mean, although Sisu does share some qualities with what we've come to expect with dragons, like, flight and magic, at the same time, she's very different, and different is hard to come by nowadays. I will say that it did take a couple of minutes to get used to this strange new addition to the movie, but Awkwafina's natural charm and bubbly personality just oozes straight out of this character, so it was actually difficult not to quickly get attached. In fact, I think all of the voice acting in this film is very well done. Each of the cast really take their characters and make them their own. I think Kelly Marie Tran is just perfect in the lead as Raya. Gemma Chan did a phenomenal job as Namari, although I can't help but think what the character would have been like if she used her British accent, but she was great nonetheless. The whole cast is really solid here, and extra props to everyone behind this film for actually going ahead and making it during a global pandemic. One thing I feel like Raya and the Last Dragon takes a lot of inspiration from, amongst other things, is Avatar: The Last Airbender. From this world's faction-like structure right down to the characters themselves. And speaking of which, if you haven't seen the Avatar series, I highly recommend it. It's one of the greatest ever in my opinion. But anyways, let's talk about Kumandra and how the visual storytelling helps to build this world. Like I just mentioned, Kumandra adopts a faction-like structure, each of which resembling a part along a dragon's body. There's fang, heart, tail, spine, and talon, all hosting unique environments, but all inspired by distinct cultures of Southeast Asia. In doing so, the film is able to generate 5 different visual languages through its animation with respect to the locations in the story. Speaking of which, Raya and the Last Dragon features some drop-dead gorgeous and truly delicious, stunning animation, some of which is almost trance-like. Yes, I'm referring to all you dragons in the film who made me feel like I was in some sort of rainbow-esque dream. Not getting ahead of myself, I wouldn't say that this is the greatest animated film in terms of visuals ever made. That title would still probably go to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but for sure this one is amongst the best out there. Every location, every character design, every goddamn action sequence is executed with the utmost attention to detail, infused with Southeast Asian culture, and it's really marvelous work. Also, the score by James Newton Howard is wonderful, breathing musical life into every frame of this film, from the more badass moments right down to the more heartfelt ones. So after scouring the internet from IMDb to YouTube to Letterboxd, I think the majority of people seem to have really enjoyed Raya and the Last Dragon quite a lot. That being said, I was actually surprised to see that quite a significant chunk of watchers straight up did not like this film, the main reason being the overall themes and messages that it tries to get across to the audience. Now, it's not my job to tell you guys how you should or should not react to a film, because at the end of the day, it's your opinion. However, a lot of people haven't reacted well to one of the film's main messages, that being trusting your enemies. As I'm sure you're aware, one of the biggest challenges Raya has to overcome is finding the strength to trust Namari, despite her lying, cheating, and backstabbing throughout. Now, I can fully see why some people have seen this message as silly, unrealistic, and even pretentious to a certain extent. I mean, why would you blindly trust someone who has repeatedly done you wrong, right? Well, I don't think the film is necessarily telling you to go out and trust every single person out there, but what it does is highlight the importance of trust in a broken world. The trust your enemies part works in the context of the story to develop both Raya and Namari as characters and the fractured relationship they have with each other. It works because these characters believe themselves to be the enemies, when in reality they're not. The real enemy is actually the Droon, and once they realize that, once Sisu makes them realize that, Raya's father's dream of a united Kumandra can finally come true. So on a final note, and just to reiterate, the film is for sure about trust, but it's also about leading with love and not conflict. I don't think it tells you to straight up trust your enemies, but more so demonstrates that trust is merely a stepping stone to unity. Well guys, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Raya and the Last Dragon. Did you love it as much as me, or are you the complete opposite and not a fan of it? Either way, let me know and I'll be interested to see what you have to say. One more thing guys, if you love movies, TV shows and want to see more of this kind of content, consider subscribing to the Popcorn Podcast to jump on board the channel. But for now, I've been Dylan. Thank you so much for tuning into the video, and I'll catch you again very soon in the next.